They laughed when the new girl hit the ground. Backpacks scattered. Shoes scraped across the hallway floor. To everyone watching, it looked like just another weak kid being taught a lesson, but none of them noticed her hand tighten against the tiles. None of them saw the way her breathing changed, and absolutely no one realized that the moment she stood back up, their lives were about to change forever. Stay with this story until the end, because what happens next proves one truth the world keeps forgetting. The quiet ones are often the most dangerous to underestimate. Chapter 1. The Girl No One Saw Coming, Hook included. Chapter 1. Hook. They thought she was powerless. They thought she would stay down. What they didn't know was that this was the last day she would ever allow anyone to decide her worth. The first day Elena walked into Ridgeway High, no one made room for her. The hallway was loud, crowded, full of students who already knew where they belonged. Elena didn't. She clutched her schedule with fingers that had known responsibility far too early in life. Her clothes were simple, her shoes worn but clean, her eyes steady, observant, unreadable. She had learned long ago that attention invited trouble. Elena took the long way to class, avoiding groups, keeping her steps measured. She wasn't afraid, just careful. Careful was how she survived moving from city to city, school to school, following a life shaped by silence and discipline. But bullies don't look for fear, they look for difference. It happened near the lockers. A shoulder slammed into her from behind. Her books slid across the floor. Laughter followed instantly, sharp and rehearsed. A boy blocked her path while another nudged her backpack with his foot like it was trash. "Watch where you're going," one of them said, smiling. Elena lowered herself calmly, collecting her books one by one. Her expression never changed. That unsettled them more than tears ever could. Someone shoved her again, harder. This time, she fell. The hallway froze for a split second, then erupted with whispers and stares. Phones came out. Someone muttered, "New girl already messed up." Elena stayed down longer than expected. Not because she was hurt, because she was deciding something. Her mind traveled to early mornings before sunrise, to training rooms with cracked mirrors, to a voice that used to say, "You don't fight because you're angry, you fight because you must." She stood up slowly, straightened her jacket, looked directly at the boy in front of her, not with rage, but with clarity. "I'll say this once," she said quietly. "Move." The hallway went silent again. The boy laughed, and that was the mistake. But Elena didn't strike. Not yet. She walked away. Because she knew something they didn't. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. That night, Elena sat alone in her room, staring at a photograph taped inside her notebook. A younger version of herself stood beside a woman in uniform, eyes strong, posture unbreakable. Her mother, a woman who had trained Elena not just to defend herself, but to understand power, restraint, and timing. "Never show your strength until it matters," her mother used to say. At school the next day, it mattered. The bullying didn't stop. It escalated. Whispers turned into traps. Hallway shoves turned into planned humiliation. Teachers missed it. Students pretended not to see. But Elena saw everything, every exit, every angle, every weakness. She waited. Chapter 2. The moment they regretted everything, Hook included. Chapter 2. Hook. They thought they had broken her. But when the hallway filled with silence and one bully realized he couldn't move, everyone finally understood who they were dealing with. It happened during lunch. The bullies cornered her near the gym. No cameras, no teachers, just them and the girl they thought was alone. One grabbed her arm. Another laughed and said something he would regret for the rest of his life. Elena didn't. "Speak." She shifted her weight. The move was precise, controlled, efficient. In less than 5 seconds, the hallway transformed from chaos into stillness. One bully was on the ground, stunned, not injured, but completely helpless. Another stood frozen, his confidence drained, his breath shallow. The third backed away, hands raised, suddenly aware that strength doesn't always look loud. Elena released her grip and stepped back. "I warned you," she said. A teacher rounded the corner just as students began gathering, eyes wide, mouths silent. The story spread faster than the internet ever could. But this wasn't about revenge. Later that day, the principal's office filled with tension. Parents arrived, questions flew, voices rose. Then a woman entered the room. Her presence alone quieted everyone. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't threaten, she simply spoke facts about training, discipline, boundaries, and what happens when pressure meets preparation. The bullies were suspended, counseling followed, policies changed. But the biggest change happened quietly. Students started sitting beside Elena, nodding at her in the halls, respect replacing ridicule. Elena never boasted, never explained. She didn't need to, because the lesson had been taught, not through anger, not through fear, but through self-control and self-respect. On the last day of school, Elena walked through the same hallway where it all began. The lockers were the same, the walls unchanged, but she was different, and so were the people around her. Ending message, strong, inspiring. Some people shout to prove their strength. Others stay silent until the moment truly arrives. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Never judge someone by how small they seem. Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's disciplined, patient, and unstoppable, and once it rises, there's no pushing it back down.